Sometimes British people can be really difficult to understand, right? In my experience, most English learners tend to prefer British English but find American English easier to understand. That's true for me as well. When I see learners speaking to Americans, they tend to look like this. But when they have to talk to a Brit, like a British person, they look more like this. What did he really say? Right? You look confused, you feel confused when you listen to British English. Well, this is not just based on my own experience. Many of you would agree with me, isn't it? Well, probably that's why you are even here watching this lesson with me on 8 common questions in British English. So before watching this lesson, read these 8 British English questions here. Can you guess their meanings? Well, let's look at the first one. What you on about? Okay. What you up to? You may have heard of that. Is Josh about? Where you off to? What's up with him? Wanna come over? You having a go at me? Shall we call it a day? Aha. So, how many of these do you actually understand? Difficult, aren't they? A bit confusing because most of them don't have any content words, as in they are mostly made up of question words and helping verbs and some prepositions as well. So the bottom line is Brits can be really difficult to understand, but only until now, because today I'm going to tell you the 8 most common questions in British English which will make it super easy for you to understand them. Well, after all, I'm going to reveal to you the 8 secrets of British English. So, shall we? My name is Michelle and this is Let's Talk, the perfect place to learn natural English. So before we start, I should tell you that Britishers tend to drop helping verbs from their questions. Well, it's not because their grammar is bad, of course not. It's because that's their natural way of speaking English. Let's see how they do that in our first question here. So the first question that we have is, what you on about? So as you can see in this question, they have dropped the helping verb are. The actual question would be, what are you on about? But they say it as, what you on about. So like I said, they have a tendency to drop auxiliaries in the questions. So what does this question really mean? Well, this one simply means, what are you talking about? What you on about? Okay. Can you use this question with your boss? No. This is very informal and quite direct. So it's best to use this with friends or people that you feel relaxed with. Now let's imagine your friend has been telling you about what's been going on in his life. He's been talking for ages, but somehow he's not making any sense. One minute he's describing his date with his girlfriend, another minute he's talking about visiting Sri Lanka, and then he starts talking about his cat Freya. None of this makes any sense. So that's when you can use this phrase. Hey Sam, what you on about? As in, what are you talking about? So the next time someone asks you that question, you know what they're asking you. You probably are going off topic and are talking about a lot of things which don't make sense. So the next time you hear this question, what you on about, I'm sure you want to come back to the topic of your conversation. The second question that we have today is, what you up to? Well, in this question as well, the helping verb are has been removed. This question should have actually been, what are you up to? But they say it like, what you up to? Or what you up to, mate? Mate here means friend, okay? This question is also just another way of asking, what are you doing? So that's what you up to. Yep, English is so weird because there are these 2 common words, up and to, and they join together to mean what are you doing? What you up to? That's pretty weird. I don't know why either. So can you use this question with your boss? Most definitely not. Most of the questions that I'm going to give you today in this lesson are quite informal, and except the last one. So you've got to stick around till we get to the last one. So unless you work in an extremely relaxed atmosphere, it would be good to avoid asking your boss what you're up to. Okay? However, it's okay to ask this question to your colleagues. So as far as using it is concerned, you can use this question whenever you want to say, what are you doing? So you might be having a chat with one of your colleagues and you might want to say, hey, what you up to this weekend? By the way, you can also use this phrase with get up to in the question, which means wake up to. So you could ask a question like, what did you get up to last weekend? This basically means, what did you do last weekend? And this is a perfect question for Monday morning that you can ask your colleagues, right? So this is our question number 2, what you're up to, or what did you get up to last weekend? The third question that we have today is Josh about? Well, it just means, is Josh here somewhere? You can also use is Josh around in place of is Josh about. Can you use this question with your boss again? Probably not. It's totally informal, okay? But most places that I've worked with, they're okay to ask these questions to their colleagues. Now, let's see how this question can be used. So just use it when you want to ask if someone is around. So for example, you could say, is Sam about? Is Ronnie about? Is Sharon about? So you're basically asking, are they around somewhere near? Okay, so this is how you can ask this question. Hey, where you off to? This is our British English question number 4. Well, it actually can be asked as, where are you off to? But like we know, they drop the R, so they say, where you off to? Well, this one just means, where are you going? And this one's a little bit more informal. So probably if you're talking to a higher up, as in a boss or somebody, you could say, where are you going? But if you're talking to your friend or your colleague, you would rather say, where are you off to? Well, it's all about using formal and informal English in the right situations. So you can also use this phrase in the positive, like you could say, I'm off to the market. Does anybody need anything? Okay, so here you're telling them that you're going to the market and you're asking them if they need something. So off to means going somewhere. So this is how you would use the 4th question for the day, where you off to? So what's up with Richie? Okay, can you guess it from my tone what this question might mean? Let me do it again. Hey, what's up with Richie? Well, I'm sure you've guessed that something is wrong. Okay, someone is not behaving properly. So this question means, why is Richie behaving differently from normal? You can use this when you want to ask someone how someone is behaving. Like, are they behaving strange? Are they behaving weird? So you ask, what's up with, and then the name of the person. Want to come over? Okay, so this is a question that Britishers ask when they want somebody to join them at their home, maybe to just spend some time. And this also has a very simple meaning. It just means, do you want to visit me at my house where I live? Or you can also say, do you want to come around? Okay, instead of do you want to come over? So instead of saying, do you want to come to my house, which sounds pretty unnatural, just say want to come over, because that's a much more natural way of expressing the same idea. So although this is actually used for home visits, you can also use it if you're visiting someone, or you want them to come at their place, or even when you're at someone else's home, or when you're at your own workplace, you could use this question. Want to come over. Just make sure that the other person knows where you are, or otherwise it can be pretty messy. So the 7th question that we have today is, you're having a go at me? Okay, this means, are you having a go at me? In this question too, they drop the R's. So I'm sure you're used to dropping the R's by now, okay? Brits are hungry people. It seems that they eat up all their R's, all right? So this one can be a little aggressive, but among friends, it can just be a bit of fun, You know, there are some people who like to tease each other and call each other names like, hey, you fatso, or hey, you nerdy guy, and sometimes punching each other in the shoulder. Well, that's not my style, but some people seem to like it, and this question is for them. So it basically means, are you saying that to try and make me feel bad? So when someone's teasing you, you could say, are you having a go at me? So this question is super informal. You can also use this with people close to you. Also, just remember, it's all about the way you say it and who you say it with. If you use it in a light voice with friends, it can actually be a lot of fun, like, hey, you're having a go at me. So that's a very playful way of asking this question. With this, we are at British English question number 8. Shall we call it a day? Well, this is super simple. It means, shall we finish our work and go home? So, coming back to my main question, Can you use this with your boss? Yes, in fact, this is the only question from today's lesson which I told you you will be able to use in a formal environment. And this one is business friendly. You could use it in, those kind of meetings where you've discussed all that you need to discuss. You've asked all the questions you need to ask, but still there's this one person who's just repeating their questions and you all are like, okay, we want to go home. So what do you do then? Well, that's when you can ask this question. You could just say, hey, shall we call it a day then? Well, that's a very nice and polite way to say that it's time to go home and you all need to leave. And also it doesn't sound very abrupt, right? So this is, shall we call it a day for you? And with that, guys, it's time for me to ask you that question. Shall we call it a day? Shall we call this the end of our lesson? Okay, thank you so much for watching this lesson with me. I hope that the next time some British guy approaches you making some strange sounds from his mouth, he might actually be asking one of these questions, and hopefully you will be able to answer him. And if you have ever noticed any other weird things that you've heard British people say, tell me in the comments. It's great to share and learn. So I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. Keep watching these lessons with me, and if you enjoyed it, hit a thumbs up and be sure to share it. And don't forget to subscribe our channel so that you can continue to receive the awesome lessons that Let's Talk has to offer you. So let's make British English easier to understand for everyone. See you soon. Bye-bye.